Hi y'all, this video is going to be kind of short, but I want to do a quick video after mulching to show you what the space looks like, because it always looks so good when you initially put the mulch down and like a few, days later it's covered with stuff and then it looks kind of not as good as it did initially. So I'm going to turn the camera around, we're going to check out a few things, and then I want to show you the Limelight Prime Hydrangea Hedge and show you how it's progressing. I don't know that I've showed it that much this season, but it's a little behind last year, and we'll talk about why at the end. So I just used triple shred, undyed mulch. It's been aged, and it's really fine. It's almost the consistency of compost, but it's not technically compost, but it breaks down pretty quickly, which requires it to be applied at least once a year. It's one of the reasons I considered moving more to just like wood chips in the area. I do like the dark color and how it looks and how it makes all the plants pop. But of course it's not cheap with how much you have to buy. I don't know exactly how many yards I put on this bed this week. I had some left over from last year that I had covered up with a tarp, and then I ordered 12 more yards and I have probably like half of that left over. So probably at least 10 yards of mulch in this area, which is a lot to move by yourself. I did it over a couple days, a few hours at a time. And it was a little more difficult this year because I have so many plants in here. Last year I was able to like dump some tractor loads in the bed and then spread it around from there, which made it a little quicker. But it's looking really good. And of course I did that a few days ago, and then we had some winds and this pine tree dropped a lot of, I don't know exactly what they are, but you can see them all in the bed here. They're little, some type of like seed related garbage, but it's all in the bed already, but that's okay. It's not meant to be perfect forever. It just looks really nice initially. But things are coming along nicely. We've got some perennials that are going out of bloom that can be trimmed up a little bit now. This cotton candy Thalictrum, which has been in videos, I've not necessarily pointed it out. It's a new perennial from Peruvian and Walter's Gardens. It can be cut back now a little bit because the flowers are spent. But I think it looks really great. I got out here yesterday and took some video or some photos of the garden in the golden hour, which were really nice. And I'm happy this area is done so I can focus on some other things, because my mind kind of just like wants to finish one area at a time. And after it's done, I feel comfortable enough to be able to move elsewhere. So a couple things also about this bed. I talked about adding some ground covers here, and I'm gonna start like finding some online and probably incorporating some this season so I don't have to mulch as much next year. Some of the perennials that I planted will continue to get pretty big, so that's not necessarily a problem. But I did come through and tuck in some perennial geranium. There's one in here, I think it's called Perfect Storm or something like that. You can see I planted in between the salvia, and I also planted under the dogwood that's over there. Behind, what's that, over there, just to fill in space. So these salvias are covered with bees. There's been so many, when I was mulching out here, so many pollinators on all of these perennials, which makes me really happy. I couldn't bring myself to mulch this pathway yet. The salvias were looking a little better than they are now. So in a few days I can actually cut those back, dig those up and move them. But I'm also hopeful I can get to the project of adding a rock path here, a stone path, kind of like I had at the last garden, stepping stones, flagstone. And I didn't want to add a bunch of mulch and it just be in the way, because that mulch that's down is pretty compacted now, and I could essentially lay rock on top of it and then put mulch around it. So that's why this little area is not necessarily completely mulched, although I did add a little bit here because that's where I just kind of drove the tractor up. Looks like we're getting really close to having some Olivia Rose Austin blooms there. Let's go take a look at the Limelight Prime Hydrangea Hedge right quick. So I'm also going to remulch this bed. It doesn't need a whole lot, just a little touch up, because I did apply wood chips last year, which is why I like it. It's been an entire year and there's hardly any weeds that grow in this bed except along the edges. But you can see how much progress some of these Limelight Prime hydrangeas have made. And interestingly enough, these on this side seem to be a little bigger. I'm not sure why, but you can see how much taller they are. and then they start, this one's a little shorter here, but I need to start regularly doing drip irrigation. I've not had to do a whole lot of drip irrigation this season because it's been cooler. So I've ran it maybe 5 times along this bed, but I am not seeing any bud production yet on these. And last year this time I was. A couple things I think that might be is because last year these were planted from containers about the end of March or something, I can't remember. I did a video on the spacing and everything of these if you're interested last year about this time, or April, March time frame. And when plants are grown in containers, they're usually a little further along because their root system is exposed to warmer temperatures than they would be if they were in the ground. And that could be a reason. It could also be that our temperatures have been lower than they were last year. It got pretty hot pretty quickly last year. So I expect Limelight Prime is a variety that is supposed to bloom earlier, start producing their buds earlier than typical Limelight and some other paniculatas. Peruvian Winners has been breeding their Hydrangea paniculatas to bloom earlier, so they provide more interesting blooms earlier in the season. But this is probably more likely going to be more typical of when they're going to start blooming. So last year started blooming a little early because they were in containers. This year they might be a little behind. So I'm going to start regularly watering these on drip irrigation though, because I do want some of these to bulk up. Some of these are kind of small. Like I said, not sure why. It could be because these are further away from the house, and those down there might be getting some runoff from the house, from the irrigation, or from the downspouts that kind of go in that area. I don't know. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it is what it is. So we're gonna see and keep an eye on these, and then I'll follow up with you in a couple weeks probably, because they should start producing buds. I would expect them to in a couple weeks at minimum, just because they are supposed to start blooming a little earlier. Couple other things. The vegetable garden is looking really incredible. The tomatoes are all super healthy except one, and I can't figure out what's going on here. It's right next to all these others. It's a Brad's blueberry cherry, which is one of my favorite cherries. There's multiple here, so there should be another blueberry cherry right next to it, which is what makes this so odd that this one has looked like this every day. It's on drip irrigation with all the others. It's had no additional weird treatments, and it's just suffering for some reason. So I may end up losing that one, but otherwise I probably need to come out here and try and pull those against the trellis this afternoon. That way they'll grow fine. But got lots of kale and Swiss chard in here, and then I've planted some watermelons, cantaloupes, and cucumbers in here to kind of, even if they don't climb the trellis, they'll spill out of the bed for me, and I'll have some nice fruit off of those in the next few weeks, especially from the cucumbers. Trying to burn out the stumps from this tree. I haven't really started it so much, but I started with the plant that was over there. That was an old, very huge rose of Sharon. That way I didn't have to run a stump grinder, because I'm going to be turning this into more bed space. Not being super successful, but I want to focus on that more later. It's not a huge priority to do right now. And last but not least, the cut flower space. So I got some of these Peruvian lilies planted. I'll show you the blooms off those. This is Lady of Shalott from David Alston that I got from Heirloom Roses last year. And it is finally blooming. These are the first time I've seen the blooms. My roses are a bit behind this year, and they're just now starting to bloom for me. Lady of Shalott is one of my favorite orange roses, but it's a little floppy is not the right word. It's very open, very airy. The branches just kind of go everywhere. And that's one of the reasons I planted it in the cut flower garden, because in my experience, the last one that I grew at my last garden needs a lot of space to kind of grow well, because it really kind of took off in my last garden, got a little unwieldy. Also got some other buds coming on here. This is Sunbelt South Africa. Really excited to see this one here in the coming few days, because I don't remember if I got blooms off it last year. But every one of these is starting to just open a little bit looks like. Here's one, two. This is cocoa? Hot cocoa? No, Coco Loco. Yeah, hot cocoa I didn't get last year. And this is Plum Perfect, I think. And it has beautiful purple blooms. It looks like I've had some deer damage, so I need to spray these. I've got something I'll test out and with y'all in a video here soon. So the cut flower garden is going to be mostly perennials this year. We've got some phlox. I think this is opalescence. This is the Peruvian lilies. Got some small ones here that I purchased and some that Walter's sent out. These are Summer Breeze, I think, or the yellow is Summer Breeze. I don't remember the name of the pink ones right yet. There's Summer Heat, which is the red ones, which are also really pretty. And these are going to be great in cut flower arrangements. And then we have some Veronica. There's Wizard of Oz, and I'm not sure what the other one is. I think it's a pink one. And then we have Yarrow. This is Peach. And then I had Peter Cottontail here, Yarrow, that looks kind of like a baby's breath. And it did not return well. Even in the garden where I have it planted up there in the front garden, for some reason it just did not like our winter so much, and it did not come back in a lot of places at all, because this was an entire edge or line of yarrow, and you can see only a few of them came back selectively. That's enough to get some nice bouquets on. You can see the actual blooms here and why I like them. But really behind this year too, it's knocked back quite a bit, but these other yarrow, loving the sun that they get here in the cut flower garden. Got some mountain mint here, which is showing chlorosis, and so I put some fertilizer on it as well the other day. Growing in a container here. Obviously it needs a little more nutrition than if it was in the ground. And then all of the peonies that I divided from elsewhere in the garden and planted here, didn't really get any blooms off of this year, which is not unexpected, but they'll stay here. There's some buds. There's some tiny buds on some of them. Not sure if they will open. We'll see, but not unexpected to not get blooms on your first year peonies of transplanting them or anything, but next year we'll probably get quite a few. All right, y'all, we're gonna call it right there. Make this one pretty short. It's warming up quite a bit already here in Ohio, so it'll really kick some of these plants into high gear, and it's one of the reasons it was a priority to mulch that area so quickly. Thank y'all for joining me, and remember, be a light. Take care. Bye.